Hey Mountaineer fans, after a year of being stuck at home, you deserve all the latest WVU gear, gifts, and apparel to show your Mountaineer pride. Our friends at the Book Exchange are offering 25% off with our promo code BX4Final4. Let's cheer on all of our Mountaineer athletes in gold and blue and support local business too. Shop online at bookexchangewv.com or at their downtown Morgantown or Evansdale locations. That promo code again is BX4Final4.
Recorded live in Morgantown, West by God, Virginia, and across the world, with your hosts, Kevin Jones, John Flowers, and our lovely co-host, Ashley. This is the Final Forecast Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of Final Forecast with me, your host, Jay Flo, superstar real estate agent, superstar basketball player in Uruguay, superstar basketball player has been playing for 11 years, best shooter to ever come through WVU. The list goes on and on. The guy KJ hated on, didn't want to pass on the ball. Me, Jay Float. Got my guy Kevin Jones with me.
Yep.
And our lovely co-host Ash.
That's me.
And today we got a real special guest. Took us about 3 years to get him on the show. Mr. Football himself at WVU, man. Man, I can't hype this guy up enough. He's Mr. West Virginia himself, man. Pat White.
Woo!
Yep.
I definitely appreciate y'all having me on the show today, man. It's big.
Man, it's been a while, man. We trying to get you on since we started this show. Literally.
Hey, listen, it was in due time, and the time is now. So we here. Let's make this thing happen, Captain.
That's a fact. A lot of people don't know that Pat's daughter is my goddaughter. Through a little funky situation, but
Funky situation.
Wait,
Oh, that
I'm
my
confused.
eldest.
yeah, it's his oldest
Well,
oldest daughter.
I
Congrats on
think
number two, by the way. I don't know if I told you that.
Oh yeah, thank you. Number 2 and number 3's on the way.
Oh wow,
Ooh.
Man, congrats, brother. Congrats.
Yes.
Thank you.
getting busy over there, huh?
Ain't shooting no gerbil water.
Yo, what?
Hey, shout out to Steve Slayton. That's a Steve Slayton quote for you, by the way.
Steve, we've been trying to get him on the show too for a while. Y'all busy, y'all big time, man.
No, y'all just all over the globe, all over the map, shooting hoops.
Facts. But nah, I want to make sure, man. Is everything okay with you and Roscoe? My dog, my puppy Roscoe.
I'm still working on the right puppy for Roscoe because I owe him. Yeah.
Oh,
I had a Doberman. I think he was a little too big for Roscoe. I think that was a little bit of a mismatch, but I'm coming back for something for Roscoe for him. He had a little incident with my daughter a few years back, which is probably why John had to become the godfather to make up for it.
oh wow.
Allegedly, Roscoe scratched or bit
No,
Oh,
Daphne in the face.
hmm
We don't
John.
know. Don't say John. I wasn't there. I was overseas at the time. I wasn't even there. But when I got
wow.
word,
Absentee father, huh? Wow.
I you know what I'm saying, I sprung into action, did the
Yeah.
investigation, and Roscoe was reprimanded, you know.
Oh
So,
yeah. All my Peter people, y'all can forgive me for this, but Roscoe is lucky to be alive today after that incident. Bit,
and being a daughter, like I didn't understand at the time because my daughter wasn't born. I was like, dang, you wanna? He was mad, you know what I'm saying? And I understand now, like I got a daughter, and if that happened to my daughter, I'll feel the same way, bro.
yeah.
Same way. But I mean, is it cool now? Can he come around you? Is it all right?
Oh no, he better not ever come around me again. I look at him around you, but when you turn your head, I'm like,
Pat, I used to post videos of Roscoe, and Pat used to just be like, I can't wait to get my hands on that.
How long ago was this?
That was a while. It was like 3, 4 years ago.
I can pull up the picture and tell you the exact date.
And he still got
That,
the picture,
Yeah,
man.
you
Come on,
got
man.
it.
Delete the picture, man.
can't
Gotta let
can't
it
do
go.
Mm-mm. Pat's creating a dossier on this dog. Like, he's ready to go.
it. Oh
We
yeah,
got we gotta forgive, man. Gotta forgive.
I'm gonna kick over his tombstone, headstone, and everything.
Damn.
Now, Pat, I guess we'll jump into this conversation, man. We don't really do this. Isn't Tony Caridi. We don't really do interviews or whatever, but I got a lot of questions for you, man. Like,
Was that a shot at Tony Creed?
Yeah, crazy.
nah, Tony's cool. I mean, we just don't do it how Tony does it over here,
I
man.
got you.
Tony,
I got you.
I
I
learned a
got
lot
you.
of stuff from Tony, but
I'm with
we like to be ourselves over here. We're not really suit and tie wearing guys yet.
you. Respect.
Yeah, man. So my first question is, man, how did it feel to be just like big man on campus at WVU, man? Like walking through campus, you're Pat White. Did you ever look at it like that, or it reminds you I had class with you, so I know you if you're lying.
Um, I always knew who I was, and still know who I am. I'm sure there were times when it went to my head a little bit, but for the most part, I did my best to remain humble, knowing that at any moment things could flip. Right? You
Right.
say my name today. Yesterday you weren't saying it. Will you be saying it tomorrow? So that was kind of my mindset going into every day. Now you may have saw something different, then you can speak on it if so. But that's how I thought I carried myself.
I mean, I learned though, like people can judge you and not even know you. You know what I'm saying? I know, like seeing you walk through campus and stuff, you had an aura with you. You know what I'm saying? Like a superstar aura with you. So I could see how some people could say, "Oh, he's arrogant," and they don't know you. But when I got to know you, you know what I'm saying? You was cool. You know what I mean? Humble, like you said, and all that. So
I,
Oh yeah, I
I,
guess. Go ahead.
I, th- I know. I was gonna say. I think a lot of times people see athletes who get a lot of notoriety, and they think just because people treat them a certain way that that's how they feel about themselves, like they're bigger than everybody else. When
Mm-hmm.
most of the times the case is they're the coolest people in the world, and they, for whatever reason, are put under a microscope, like negatively, because other people may admire them. You know what I mean? Has that, you felt like that was the case with you, or you felt like everybody kind of had the feeling that you were a good guy or whatever? Did you get a lot of hate your way?
Oh, I in the years that I've learned, I think most people want you to feel what they're feeling. So whenever you cross their path, whatever emotion they have at the time, they want to put that onto you. Right? So if they're feeling bad about themselves, when you walk by, right,
Mm-hmm.
they want whatever's inside of them to be reflected onto whomever they interact with. That could be wrong, but that's my take.
that's a smart
I can
take.
understand that. I can honestly say, me as an outsider, I saw Pat. I saw you one night at Bent Willie's. I'll never forget this. It was actually my birthday, and of course, I've always been a huge WVU football fan. And I'm like, oh my God, Pat White's here. How cool's that? You did not act that way at all. As a matter of fact, I remember you being at the bar buying other people drinks instead of them buying you drinks. And you were like, my friends talked to you. You were super cool. I didn't get that vibe from you at all. I didn't think that you thought that you were better than everyone else. Of course, everybody in Bent Willie's knew who you were, of course. But I thought you were pretty cool. So that's my personal take.
Well, that's a case of me trying to act too cool. What in the heck am I doing at the bar buying people drinks when I ain't got no money myself as a college student?
So I was about to say, where you get all this money from, Pat? You had an NIL deal?
Word.
No, I didn't. That's what I was broke. What was I doing buying drinks?
I
What was we
don't
drinking?
know.
I mean, what?
Natty Light?
I'm pretty sure they were shots.
Ooh.
Mm.
Mm, mm, mm.
Something tells me you had the hookup. I don't know
Maybe.
that.
Maybe they were giving him drinks and he's just passing them out to everyone else and made it look like he was buying drinks for everybody else.
Pat, you ever
Well,
did the celebrity bartender?
I maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm unsure.
You don't have to say. I mean, it really
Uh,
doesn't matter now, right?
yeah, I don't think I did that at like Ben. Not what was that like Envy or Elements or
Yeah, one of them.
would you do that? Yeah,
The-
no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, did you get people constantly asking you for favors, like to sign, whether it be sign something or appearance somewhere, like just offer your name, using you, offer your name, and if you did, how did you ever like respond to that? Like, were you the type of person that you were easily like you could say no, or were you like, all right, I'll do this just like out of the kindness of my heart, or you didn't mind saying no to people?
Situationally, I approach that right. Let's say for instance, I am at Kegless because this happened a few times. Right, I'm sitting there eating my wings in the middle of like a nice Kegler's gold wing, just biting into, like a old man walks up and he's like, "Can you side this for my grandson?" And I'm looking at him like, "Do you see my fingers?" Like I'm like, sir, give me 10 minutes, let me finish this, and I will gladly sign. But like it's all about timing. Or
Yeah.
or the old man and woman that will come to signing day with 700 items.
yeah,
Like
Hmm.
these are all for family members.
right.
Now, I have a big family. How big is your family, bro? Like, my ancestral origins made my family a little bit more extensive than yours. So if I don't have that many people, then how? That type of stuff.
Gotcha.
Right.
That's wild. I can't believe someone had the audacity to bring like 700 items to you and be like, "Yeah, sign it all. Thank you."
Yeah.
It could be annoying sometimes, but me personally, I'm a people person, you know what I'm saying? But I could see, and I didn't have as nowhere near as many friends as Pat White, so I can't even imagine like people coming up to Pat all the time. Did it? I mean, you wore a helmet during the game though, so you were one of the players that people recognize though because you're the quarterback of the team. But did that help though, with like calming down like some of the fans, like, oh, I didn't even know that was Pat White.
It helped some. It wasn't as difficult getting around campus as you basketball players, obviously, because there was no helmet. They could see every emotion, every facial expression you all make, so they knew you inside and out.
Right.
Um, like you said, a little bit different for us. And funny story, after I graduated, coming back, I would be on campus. My little brother was still in school, obviously, and people would walk up to me and be like, "Hey, Coley, when is Pat coming back to school?" And I'd be
Hey,
like, I don't know, man."
y'all are twins, man, for real. Y'all are
So,
twins.
oh yeah, I mean, 4 years apart, but I kicked his butt back in, stay in.
How, how is Kobe doing?
Cole is doing well. Great news coming. Blueprint Performance, our training facility. We were just approved to start building our own facility. So,
Mm,
um,
nice. Where's that gonna be
couple.
at?
It's in Daphne, down in Daphne, Alabama. So,
Oh, that's where you're
he's
from.
been working there since like 2012. Since
Mm,
he graduated, really started with his first client, and now he's about to build his own building. Has his own flag football league, Eastern Shore flag, which is pretty cool. Philip Rivers actually signed up to coach in our league this year,
Oh, that's
Oh, that's
cool.
um,
dope. That's dope.
which obviously it's part of the NFL flag, so it's obviously growing. It's a safer option, and it gives kids the opportunity to touch the ball, regardless of your size.
right.
Makes sense. If you're an offensive lineman and tackle football, you can be a receiver or a tight end or running back and flag and learn more ball skills playing that way. So, I mean, I think it's definitely enjoyable and fun. My nephew, forgive me for talking forever, but my nephew just switched over to tackle from flag, and it made a world of difference in his game. His ability to play in space and his athletic ability as well. So, but
Awesome.
So
long
what is
story short, Cole is doing great.
it's?
Awesome.
So what is 7-on-7?
It's flag.
Fly.
It's like
Okay.
a 5 or 6 man
Okay.
potentially. So it's
I'm
ages 6, or excuse me, 5 to 14.
Yeah. I see. I remember the big debate when we was there. I don't know if KJ was there at the time. My freshman year, though, we used to always say that the basketball team could give y'all a run, the football team a little run for their money on the 7-on-7. We wasn't messing with y'all on the full pass, but 7-on-7, we could get out there, man.
Shit.
Y'all had some length.
We had some length, we had speed. We can get out there on the 7-on-7. It was a debate, man. It was really a debate. Y'all used to play basketball all the time too.
I'm with you. I didn't. I
I
I
mean,
refuse to get on that court and get embarrassed.
remember Ellis Langston? Y'all had Bradley Starks,
Oh yeah, not
JB.
yeah. Darius used to go out there and yoke on y'all head now.
Who?
Darius Raynaud.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
Dash. Yeah, y'all
Yeah.
had,
Who? Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
So specifically, John, he dunked on.
y'all had some hoopers, bro, and Hugs. You know what I'm saying? He liked that, but he wanted a football team as a basketball team anyway. So
Oh yeah. No, I mean it was the relationship between basketball and football during my time at West Virginia was amazing.
yeah,
There was very little animosity. There
right,
was
right.
always respect, always pushing each other to be better, always congratulating each other on the current success and future success. I think that's pretty unique. Because it's
Mm-hmm.
usually,
Yeah,
man,
facts.
forget you. You trying to talk to my girl, man.
Yup. After you left, did you hear about everything that went? I mean, anything?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
And,
heard about some incidents going on.
and I think that has to do a lot with the leadership of a team too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're the
Yeah,
star. It's never the star players that are beefing with. You know what I'm saying? The basketball team. It's always the guy at the
oh
end of
yeah.
the
Not my
night.
experience.
Huh?
Not my experience. Had a different experience. This is after Pat left. I think I had one year, which I think was your senior year was my freshman year.
Hmm.
So I got to experience that one year at your. I guess I would say that was at your pinnacle. But after that, like I feel, I don't know what it was, man. You know, when guys come in and people consider WVU a football school, and just like I feel this when Coach Huggins first started out, that it was transitioning more to being it was basketball was kind of mentioned in the same breath, but I feel like before that there was real no reason, no animosity because everybody just thought it was a football school in the first place. So I just feel like once they started being more of a rivalry, when like basketball got more recognition, do you feel that way or nah? Either one of y'all
Well,
feel that way?
my freshman year, I think we went to the Elite Eight for the first time, or Sweet 16 or something.
Sweet 16.
Was it Sweet 16?
Yeah. Oh no.
You
Your freshman year?
Yeah, his freshman year,
2004.
2004. Yeah.
Oh, I don't
Oh,
know. Elite
okay.
Eight. They went to Elite Eight. Yeah.
Yeah, Elite Eight. I mean, that was the biggest party in Morgantown ever.
Mm-hmm.
It was like we left Towers. It was people on the road from Towers all the way downtown
Mm.
celebrating this. And this was my like first experience with West Virginia's success as a sport, and that was basketball. You know,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
not too soon after, I did run into Pit Snoggle in the club, and we talked about this since. And I was like, man, congratulations, great year. He looked me up and down and walked off, and I was like, damn.
Yo.
I was
Oh.
like, I was like, damn.
Wow.
Yo, that's
But
wild.
He
it
was
was.
he was drunk.
Making
Did
excuses
he
for
know
him.
who you were? Did he know who you were? He thought you was just some regular person.
Well, I don't. It didn't matter, you know.
Right.
But
Yeah, it didn't matter, but
I didn't. We're cool now. There's
that's OD.
That's crazy. I got to know, though, Pat, how did you end up at WVU? I'm sure you had other offers at other schools. What was it about West Virginia that you were attracted to?
Rick Trickett, who's now back with Rich Rod at Jacksonville State.
Mm-hmm.
He told me, Pat, Rasheed Marshall is our starting quarterback. He's been there for 3 years. He's gonna start next year. So you're gonna redshirt, all right? Let's get that on the table. The next year you can compete for the starting job.
Mm.
Right? We're not gonna give it to you. Other
Right.
schools were like, you can come in and start over this guy. He's too stupid to be our quarterback. And at the end of the day, it was like shit. They're being open and honest about where they see me. Right?
Right.
and not trying to dangle a carrot in my face and say, you know, you can start. It's like, no, you can work to be the starter. There's a chance you can do it. And he also said, if you become the starter, I guarantee you, we will have an opportunity to pay for a national championship or play for a national championship, and we were what 5 points away.
Uh
So,
huh. Which we have to talk about that. We have to. I
do
mean,
we have to?
we kind of do though, Pat. I mean, I have to know how you felt because we've talked to other guys that were on the team, and I think it was heart wrenching for everyone. But I want to know from your point of view what you think happened, how you felt about it. I mean, if you're cool with talking about it, I'd like to know.
Ooh,
Fucking Pat McAfee.
no.
I just say that because you won't come on the show. But go ahead, man.
Well, in Pat's defense, since you did mention that, the week before we had scored 66 points. So there's no excuse for us to come up the next week and score 9. Right? And he like whatever. Um, but for me, it was I don't know overlooking our opponent. Distractions. That week is a blur. You know when you have a traumatic experience and you just block it out.
Right.
That's how that week was in my life.
Oh.
So what exactly happened? Because I'm not familiar with the situation. I hear everybody talking about, it, but what happened?
They lost the
Um.
pit
So
of all people.
yeah, we were in- playing Pitt, which they were like 4-7 or something, whatever.
Yeah, they were not good. I mean, they
They
weren't, yeah.
they didn't have a great season, and if we beat Pitt that week, we would go play Ohio State for a national championship.
Uh-huh.
Um, we end up losing to Pitt 13-9. Um, Zero excuse. Dislocated my thumb in probably like the first half at some point.
Yeah, you got
Uh,
hurt. I remember that.
Tried to come back and finish the game, which I probably should have just said, "Forget this thumb, let's roll." Thinking back on it,
You say you should have played through it?
yeah, I should have just said that thumb, cut it off.
Mm.
You know, um, but just unprepared, overlooking. I mean, it's a
Yes.
rivalry, so how can you do that?
Yeah.
Unsure what was going on behind the scenes with
Rich Rod.
Rich and going to Michigan, but now that I am in this business and understanding a little bit more of how it works, I can see there being communication, um, see there being somewhat of a distraction,
Oh, so
and
you
like,
saying he didn't want to say nothing because it was going to cause a distraction before the game?
yeah, I mean, and how do you say,
Yeah.
you
Right.
know,
Was you mad at
I'm
him at the time?
I've yet to be upset with Rich, and reason being, John, is they offered me a scholarship and honored it for 5 years.
Facts.
They allowed for me to advance myself and my family, and that's current, not my immediate family growing up. But even though they did benefit from it somewhat, um, they allowed for me to get an education and go on and grow as a man. So I'm forever grateful
Yeah.
and very appreciative for that. Now there are some things that I don't care for too much, but
Like what?
that,
He's not giving
Breaking
it to
news.
us.
You can break the news on the podcast, man. This isn't
no,
Tony Caridi, man. You can say whatever you want to say, man.
um, there's really nothing to say. I appreciate all that was provided for me
Yeah.
for the most part.
I
Just
like I
don't.
like I like Rich Rod as a coach too, man.
Well,
You talk about that, like just him as a coach. He was really like hard nosed, old school type of coach. And then you had Bill Stewart after you left. What was the difference between those two as coaches?
Uh, Bill substituted adjectives for the
Uh,
curse words.
that was the,
That's
that was
that's
the only difference.
yeah. I mean, Bill just didn't curse.
Got you.
He was just as tough, you know. I think just as gritty. He just didn't use all those expletives
Right.
that Rich used. And for me, I experienced the positive side of Rich because we were winning.
Right.
Right? Other people have different experiences with Rich, maybe because they weren't as successful.
Mm.
So my interaction with Rich is different than, let's say, uh, Rasheed Marshall, or not to say that they just didn't have 4 years of success. Like, you know what I mean? They had to
Right.
build it,
Right.
so
Yeah.
they had to some growing pains.
Right.
We didn't have those.
Okay.
So even if he did curse at me, it was just like, yeah, right, bro. I hear you.
Yeah.
So when
Speaking
you
of Bill Stewart, I have to ask this real quick because you were there when he gave the Leave No Doubt speech, which has turned into like a whole other thing. What are your thoughts on that speech? Did it really like hit you guys? Did it hit home? I guess.
After the fact, because as a player in that moment, for me, I was visualizing the game happening. You know,
oh God.
as he's talking, my mind, like I hear you, but I guess I'm listening. But am I truly listening? Because my mind is on making plays and what's going to happen when I touch that field.
Right.
But after the fact, hearing is probably one of the greatest speeches that has been given.
I couldn't agree more. It still moves me. You know what I mean? Like even as someone who doesn't even play sports, like watching him give that speech, like as a mountaineer, brings a tear to my eye. It's so
Oh,
moving.
it was right on time. Now you right about that.
So one thing I wanted to ask too is like your starting role came in because like two quarterbacks got hurt or something like that, or a quarterback got hurt.
Yeah, Adam Bignar got hurt versus Louisville. And funny thing is, a few weeks before that, he got hurt versus Virginia Tech.
Mm.
Um, I finished the game out.
Did you
Finished the
play that
game.
game?
Yep. Um, we end up losing 31-17. On a comeback, paint the picture for you. We were coming back. It was 24-17 at the time. We stopped them on defense. They punted the ball to us. We muffed the punt with like 3 minutes left. They picked it up, scored,
Mm.
went in to score. Final score was 31-17. So we lost the game. I Because of that, the next week they put Adam Bednar back as the starter. I
How's you
call him
how's
up.
you how's you feel about that though? Like they put him back as a starter. Was that your coming out game? Like I'm here now.
Well, I thought it was about to be. But
Yeah.
when that happened, like Rutgers, I got less playing time, so I called my father. I'm like, "Listen here, pop. So you remember you
You was about
remember
to get
that?
out of there?
Yeah, I was like, you remember that baseball contract that the Royals,
Man, that's what I want to
not
ask about too.
the Angels offered me? Let's go see about that."
Yeah.
He
Wow.
he was like, "Nope."
You're staying. You're done.
He was like, "Listen, I don't care what happens. You refuse to allow another man to know that he has beat you.
Mm.
Right? You go out there every day and you compete like you are the star. At the end of the week, right? If you feel the same way, then I will bring your glove." Now that was the week of Louisville, right? So that every day I went out, I competed as I was the starter. Ryan, not Ryan. Adam got hurt. I came in. We won in triple overtime, and I became the starter. But it was at that point I was like, "Listen, I'm done." Because for some reason, they just don't see what I felt like I possessed over
Right.
Mhm.
him.
Right.
Mm.
Not to say that I was a better football player. I just felt like I was a better competitor.
Mm.
I was gonna give you more of me for 4 quarters, and regardless of how hard, how many times I got knocked down, I was gonna get up and keep competing if I could.
Right.
Wow. By the way,
You,
your
you think
dad sounds like he's just a wealth of knowledge. Like,
Ooh,
what a good
Sure,
dad.
that's powerful.
ooh,
That's powerful right there.
blessing, man. Well, it was definitely a blessing. I was ready to give up. He was like, "No, son."
I mean,
But
would
at
it
the end
be
of the week,
a
if you
bad
feel the same
decision?
way,
You
I
know what I'm
will bring
saying?
your
Like,
glove.
go get that baseball money.
Yeah, it wasn't 18. When I got drafted out of high school, I was 18. They offered me about a little less than 300K, and I was like, "Ain't no way."
Wow. I think for a lot of people, it would be hard to turn down that money. Of course, that maybe though in your mind, you're like, I think I can go to the NFL and make a lot more. But for a college kid, like college age, 18 years old, to turn that money down.
Make more than baseball?
Yeah, well, at that time, it wasn't sufficient enough for me to turn down a college education, right?
Oh,
Mm.
Because
okay.
300K tax,
Right.
30% roughly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That takes me down to what, 240?
270 ish.
Is it 270
Yeah. Well, that'd be
ish?
10%. Sorry. Yeah, no. 30 would
But
be
like
90.
220.
220. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I get a car. What am I gonna get? A Mercedes? What's that? 60.
Yup.
Right. I'm down to 100K
So hold up though.
in
You
my
thought
in
about
my
all this.
in my, in my first week.
You thought
That's
about
true.
all this in high school?
Blessed to have great leadership.
Facts.
Yeah,
That is a
for
Um,
fact.
real.
That's
who
because
set me down and discussed? You know.
yeah, I know a lot of black families would have took that money, man, because they need it.
I mean,
You know what I
my
mean?
my father asked me, "What would it take for you to not go to college?" And I told him $1 million.
Mm.
They didn't offer me $1 million. It wasn't nowhere close. So I was like, "See y'all later."
Yeah.
That
See
was the
that?
question my guys had for me. Shout out to Quan. He wanted to know why you chose baseball instead of football when there's so much money in baseball. You know what I mean? Like the potential in baseball would have been crazy.
Yeah, could have been. That's a long, hard road too.
Is it
And
really?
oh, whew, I mean, it's unless you're a first rounder and they're putting millions and millions of dollars into you, like you got to fight your way up this tree.
Mm.
And remember, after I got released by the Dolphins, I went and played with the Royals
Right.
for
Mm.
a couple months.
Oh, I didn't
I,
know that.
I mean, I was 25 competing with 18, 19, 20 year olds.
Right.
For I was like, I may be a little too old to be starting this fresh. But again, it's you get paid. I think $1,100 a month
Mm-hmm.
your first year, and then it tiers every year. So the second year can be like 1,300, and then like 18, and then 21. But
Sheesh.
That's
imagine
wild.
trying to survive as an 18-year-old off $100,000 you have left over on the signing bonus
Mm-hmm.
and $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
How
Right?
long would that contract be for though? Like,
Well, it's based off your level of play and how well you advance. Right, so you start out at rookie ball, and it's like rookie ball A and rookie ball B, and then you got single A, and you got double A, and you got triple
oh
A, and then
wow,
you got the big leagues. So
oh
it's
wow,
like
I didn't know any of that.
it's like a process.
Yeah,
It's a few G leagues.
yeah, that's
Right.
wild.
Oh, damn. Crazy.
Also, just that, like, I think about like a baseball schedule. You know what I mean? They play so many games. Like,
Ooh,
there's a lot there.
repetitive.
And I,
Rep-
I just hear about them contracts they signing though, man. They signing $350 million contracts, man.
oh, you better believe my little man will have a bat and a glove and a tee ASAP.
Facts.
But
That's the longevity sport too.
oh yeah, it's definitely some longevity in baseball. But again, it's a long, hard road to get there. And I don't know if you recently they were talking about how a lot of the foreign born players will group up with like 8 guys to a 3 bedroom house, or just because of the financial hardships of trying
Wow.
to make professional
Damn.
sports.
Yeah.
That's wild. We're hearing I don't think any of us knew that personally about baseball. Like I
Nah.
feel like I got a little glimpse into what's really going on back there, you know?
Yeah.
But on the baseball side though, you was very vocal about baseball at WVU, weren't you? They asked you like why you weren't a double sport player.
And yeah, that's it, because he don't recruit players that look like me. It,
And I was
Ooh.
that was true. I saw that about a few sports though. In volleyball, there weren't any black athletes there for a while. I
and
knew
I
that
mean,
because I dated a few volleyball players. You know what I'm saying? I used to like the
well,
game.
you wow.
But yeah,
Um,
man, I think that was big time when you as a leader, man. That just shows your leadership just to be able to
and
to
well,
say that.
how stupid of me. Um, just my entire life, I did them both. Right, it kept me active. It kept me involved. It kept me focused. Right.
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 After football season, there's a lull. Right, you got some spring training, but you're not as active as you would have been. Like imagine myself going back and staying active, right, doing football and then baseball, and keeping that focus throughout
Right.
Right.
college instead of those lulls in time when you go and do a little too much Morgantown.
Right.
Yeah.
So hold on. So the coach asked you to play? They
No,
wanted you to.
we never had a discussion.
You didn't let it get to that point.
He
No, he's
didn't let it
saying
get.
he didn't.
Oh, the coach didn't. Oh,
Like,
Right.
wow,
like
wow.
and it's I guess to his defense, I didn't go ask.
But you got drafted. You got drafted. You know what I mean? But I mean, maybe he thought, yeah, you would just focus on football, X, Y, Z in the third, right? But then when you look at it, you look at the scope of things. And he doesn't recruit black players, and maybe you're like, damn, he doesn't want me either.
Oh yeah, the one gentleman that was on the baseball team, he was of both white and black descent. Um, my freshman year said he treated him like crap, but now that's
Mm.
Aw.
his opinion and like how he felt. I didn't experience it, but just hearing that was like, dang. And
Is he
That's
still the
he
coach?
heart-wrenching.
no. They got Maisie. Maisie does a amazing job with.
Did you get him fired?
Who asked that
I'm
question?
taking.
You know John asked that question.
I
No,
mean,
I
that
no.
that had to bring a lot of scrutiny to his program, right? Like,
Well,
as it should, though.
it was time for a change,
Right.
in my opinion, and that's all the baseball players that played for him and thought he was an unfair coach to them. And that's not all. That's some.
Right.
And that's you're gonna have disgruntled employees with everything. So it kind of got to take it as a grain of salt. It was just for me. I saw what his baseball team looked like, and I was like, no. And Macy's had great success, and I talked to Macy, and I was like, how do you recruit your baseball players? How do you have success? And he's like, listen, I look for good athletes, and I teach them the fundamental, right? If you're a good
Right.
athlete, you can play baseball.
Mm.
So speaking of, now that we're on that topic, like, what was the culture? Was there a culture shock coming from where you from in Alabama to coming to West Virginia? And if so, how'd you deal with that?
Mm, Daffy, Alabama is pretty black and white, and
Okay,
Morgantown, West Virginia is pretty black and white. So I mean, it wasn't
it wasn't okay.
other than the biscuits and gravy and the pepperoni rolls and the snow. It wasn't. You know,
That
Okay,
big of a
all right,
difference.
okay.
I
That's,
well, yeah, this
from a racial standpoint, like a lot of athletes don't experience what the average black person goes through in America.
yep.
Have you? You probably haven't, but have you ever heard of any racist things going on in West Virginia, in Morgantown? I mean, like on campus or anything?
I do my best to see racism as a system. It's
Right.
it For me, racism is a lot less of what somebody else feels about me. For me, that's prejudice.
Mm,
Racism is an economic system, a religious system, uh, educational system, um, the government system. Those are that's where you find racism, right?
right.
Um, just feelings. Again, it's prejudice. So. Um, To answer your question, for me, racism is a system put in place to oppress a group of people.
Right.
Yes.
So did you feel any prejudice things going around? I guess I should ask that.
Always in
For real.
well, I'm just in everything that we do. Um, there's gonna be prejudice. With all due respect, when you see a person who is a lot underweight, right,
Mm-hmm.
you have a certain prejudice about, right? You think maybe they're either on drugs or have an eating disorder, or right, or you see a person that's
Right.
overweight, right? You have a prejudice about them. You think it's they're have bad, eating
Right.
habits, or so. For me, John, um, when looking at that aspect of life, I try to look at it holistically,
Mm,
and approach and attack it that way. Because me going at somebody's feeling towards me is only gonna make me upset and make them upset.
right.
Me looking into systems that affect me, right, is
Mm-hmm.
what's gonna make the change.
Right. Right.
Amen.
Smart.
You give me big Ti vibes, man. Like just listening to you, just like listening to you, like you learn. I feel like I learned a lot of stuff, man. And it sounds like just in this conversation alone, like just the stuff that you dropping right now, you just look at stuff differently because I never thought of it like that.
Hey, shout out to my man Tip. You do
Yeah.
know
So.
he named his son Major after
Uh huh.
Major Harris, right?
Oh no, I didn't know that. That's dope.
You can go pull up a picture of Ti right now, rocking a gold West Virginia hoodie.
That's
No.
tough.
Man, go
That's tough.
y'all better get on the net.
You never know.
Oh.
You never know, man. You never know.
Oh, so Tip was a West Virginia fan.
I'm not gonna say that. I'm just saying you can pull up a picture of him rocking a West Virginia hoodie, and he did name his son Major after
Oh,
That
Major
is
Harris.
true.
so
Love it.
speaking of Major Harris, I asked him this question too. Who's a better quarterback, man? In your mind?
Well, in my mind, it's different from what the paper says, right?
Right.
Because in my mind, shit, I'm better than Tom Brady.
Right. Right. Right.
All right,
What
don't.
the hell you
All
talking
right,
about?
all right, all
Right,
right. Don't go there. All right, don't go there. Don't go. Don't go there. I gotta. You know what I mean?
but he is the only quarterback in West Virginia history to play for a national championship, but take his team to a national championship. So
Mm-hmm.
that being said, you got to give him the cake.
True. But did he have uh, whiteout night, Pat White night? Did he have a Major Harris night on senior night? That's big time, man.
Listen, the Almighty Creator is amazing, isn't he? Or isn't he or she? Let me give my female counterparts their respect. Right?
Love it.
Is God
Yeah,
male or is God female? That's a whole nother story.
whole different podcast, man. We
Hmm.
gotta get you back
No,
for
yeah.
it. But nah, we had a debate here on the show, man. They were trying to say that whiteout wasn't for you. Ain't that something,
Um,
KJ?
Who? KJ what? I never said that.
it
I never
it
said it wasn't for Pat White.
it was for.
I said they couldn't market. They couldn't market that saying it's Pat White's day. That's what I was saying. Like they could, because at that time it was no NIL stuff. I don't think that they could do that, right, Pat? Like they couldn't say officially it was Pat White day
I don't know, but
at that time.
is there some retroactive dollars that we could recruit or something? Is that
You might. It might be. It might be some money out there.
oh I don't think that they could. I don't know what, bro. I was just in it. I don't know. I was just living it. Like, do your thing. I'm cool.
So
Just makes for me. It was just making sure that the rest of the seniors felt as a part of this as I did on that day.
Right.
right,
It was like I'm a team player, right? I knew it took all 11, so
hmm
we should be celebrating us. Is
that
what
Mm-hmm.
I.
that speaks to your leadership. But when you walk out there, you walk out of the tunnel, and you see the whole stadium packed, all white jerseys. They had to make a killing off that. First of all, I don't want to say that, man.
Oh yeah, I still got a one of those cards from United Bank that
Oh my goodness.
they put out
Mm-hmm.
But what
all
was the
over.
feeling? What was the feeling like though? Like, was you emotional that night? Like, it's my last game, or
Um, I knew it was about time for that chapter to close. My senior year was a unique one, right? I was the
Mm-hmm.
last of the Mohicans. Seemed like all my buddies left me. Head coach left, whole new coaching staff. So it was a little tougher to get everybody to buy into a certain way of ball and a certain way of carrying yourself, and because
yeah,
Bill is different than Rich. Mike Joseph is different than Ballers.
right,
Um, Calvin McGee was different than Jeff Mullins. So um, different energies, and
right,
having to rebuild that in a year was it could get stressful sometimes. But right, you had to smile and go and fight through it every day. But this is probably the first time I felt this or said this, but I guess it was somewhat of a relief to be finishing.
right. Yeah, that's
Mm.
how I felt. Kind of. After my last game, my senior year, I was like, man, I ain't gotta do with hugs no more, man. I can go to the next chapter in my life.
Help spread the word about our podcast. Leave us a review and tell a friend.
But one thing I'm not a jealous person, you know what I'm saying. But one thing that had me like, dang, Pat's the motherfucking man. Like, was Aaron Andrews interview, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you're big into rumors around Morgantown. I mean, you know how rumors are in Morgantown. Like 90% of them are false. But I don't know, man. This one, for some reason, I believed it, man. I don't know if it was how she was looking at you while she was interviewing you. But they say you and Aaron Andrews used to date or something a little bit. You know what I mean? Is there any truth to that?
Um, there is truth that following the interview, there was an inappropriate kiss put on my cheek.
Oh, she kissed you.
Ooh.
She did kiss you.
Um,
I
now,
forgot about that.
like, I didn't, I didn't think. You know what I mean? I'm finishing the interview, just walking over the field. You just living in the moment. Like all the SIDs, sports information people, like, bro, Aaron Andrews just kissed you.
Word.
I'm like, huh? What y'all talking about? Well, she just kissed you. I'm like, oh, I wish I'd have
Did
known that. I'd have been,
so you didn't think nothing
You'd
of
have
it?
been on it.
yeah, I would have been like, never mind. Yeah,
Her net worth is like 30 million now too. She's doing her thing. Shout out to Aaron Andrews.
no, we did not. I'm
They
guessing that was probably her attempt,
I,
but I missed it. I was
yeah.
I missed that one, John. Sorry.
Y'all
I
didn't
got
have
no good stories for you on that.
we didn't have Instagram back then. You didn't when you was in school or
What you trying to say, John?
Tinder.
What you trying to say,
Huh?
John? You trying to say I'm
I'm
old?
saying. No, I'm saying I mean, we could say that, but I'm saying it was already getting thrown at you. You know what I'm saying? So could you imagine with all those other apps and stuff like that? And like, how do you tell your players? I saw Dion. He brought in Brittany Renner, who is
Yeah.
a Instagram model, someone who tries to exploit young men,
Mm-hmm.
young athletes. How do you navigate through that temptation in college, and how do you tell your players now to navigate through the temptation of females?
Just be careful where you share your energy, right? Because you may go into it with a positive mindset, a positive energy. You don't know what that other person's coming into that connection with, and I'm a firm believer that those energies will be shared and swapped, and you could
Mm,
be taking on bad energy that you don't need, or giving away energy that you can never get back. So just be wise about where you share and spend your time.
right.
Hmm. Facts. Facts. You meditate?
What's up?
You sound like you're very into like you're very spiritual, you're very energy based, big on
That's
energy.
it.
Like do you
I,
meditate and stuff like that?
I feel like life is a meditation, man. I'm my belief is that we are in constant communication with whatever life force you want to feel as your higher power, whether it be God, Allah, however you want to
Mm-hmm.
see that. Right? For me,
Yeah.
it's constant communication. So every thought in turn is a prayer. If you truly believe, right? Because all knowing, omnipotent, omnipresent is a God that we serve. Right? And if that's the
Mm-hmm.
case, then every thought that you have is communication. So, hey, in other words, um, there's your subconscious. What we deem as subconscious is a constant mechanism for what I believe is meditation.
That's deep. I
That's
love that.
We got to get him and Joe Alexander to talk
Oh, for
together.
sure.
That'd be
Yes.
crazy.
Me and who?
Oh yeah, that'll be
Joe
an interesting
Alexander.
Oh,
conversation.
oh,
He's a
He's the same
man,
way.
I
deep
ran
thinker.
into Joe in Vegas one time.
Oh man.
He, um, I had a table, and he was a few rows higher than me, so obviously he had a way more expensive table up there. But we were in the club together. He was pretty cool. He didn't
Those
treat me like Pit Snuggle.
those those was the days though, huh? Just going out getting tables, and are you done with that part of your life? Cause I used to do that a lot, man. I realized, man, what a waste of money, man. But it was great times, you know. So
Yeah, it was very immature. But it was fun. But if I could return back the tables, I definitely wouldn't be sitting at no table.
I mean, KJ's still doing it though. You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna call you out, but I'm not gonna do it. I was gonna call you. I was like, you just was there last week. Nah,
Nah, I mean, I do
nah. Let me
I do it
stop.
occasionally. You know what I'm saying? Once or twice a summer, maybe with the
I
guys.
think it's cool to do it to celebrate stuff. If you're just doing it every weekend, I feel like that's where the problem lies. But if you going out celebrating with your boys over some accomplishment or whatever, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Right.
Oh yeah.
But not. I want to talk about your NFL career now. You know what I'm saying? How was that experience? You see how the interview just flows though, right? We went from the
Oh yeah.
high school baseball,
This part's gonna
football.
take like 10 seconds. I, I was I was there and then I wasn't.
Nah, man. But it was. I mean, it's your dream to play in the NFL, right? And you get
Um,
there. I mean, just talk about your journey through that.
um,
Should have won Heisman, by the way.
Yes.
appreciate that. But we lost the pit.
Yeah,
We
for
lost the
sure.
pit, right? So they were like, can't
Right.
get this whole line. They just lost the pit, man. We ain't
Based
even
on
inviting
one
him.
thing.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Um, and then we had the Tebow factor. So there was no way.
Yeah.
Um,
You
they look. My spiritual talk was different than his spiritual talk. So they weren't trying to hear the shit I was talking about. You know.
That's
Uh,
a fact, though. That's crazy.
Worked out for the Patriots 3 times. All right. Once as a quarterback, once as a returner, once as a receiver. Never talked to the Dolphins. Never worked out for them. And then they jump up and draft me in the second round.
That's
Um,
crazy.
which yeah, I am very thankful and blessed that it happened. There's a reason it happened to me, and the reason my career ended the way it did.
Mm.
But to start, the day I was drafted, my agent calls me, right? And this was right before the Dolphins called me. He's like, Pat, you're going to have to wait till the second day. Don't look like you're getting drafted today. Hang up. Boom. As soon as he hangs up, the Dolphin calls me. Pat, we just selected you second round. And I'm like, man, what the, like, what kind of cruel joke? And mind you, um, like I'm reserved about these things. I didn't want to have a big celebration, and small town. It's about 30,000 people in my town, but a lot of family and friends came over, and you can tell I'm big on energy, and I
Right.
could feel in the room that there were some people happy for me, but there were also some people there that weren't so. So it was like a
Oh.
it was like a ugh feeling. Like, like,
Envious.
like we celebrating, but are we really celebrating? Like, and then have my agent call me like, you had to wait till the second day. And I'm looking around like, see, this is why I ain't want all these people here in the first place because I know what day I'm getting drafted. Um,
Right.
but we ended up getting drafted, so that was a blessing. Only issue was a week before the draft, I dislocated my pinky on my throwing hand,
Mm.
working out for the Minnesota Vikings. Um, and I should have said no, I'm not running any routes. But they had me working out as a receiver. My last route of the entire workout was like a one-step quick slant. Dislocated my pinky. Um, they vowed to not tell anybody. So Dolphins draft me. After they draft me, I tell them like, man, I dislocated my pinky. They're like, and right, you didn't tell us, right? So we drafted your ass. You gonna show up to rookie minicamp. We gonna buddy take your finger, and you gonna go to work.
Ooh.
And
Wow.
I'm like, this is me trying to, you know what I mean? Come in
They ain't
and
say
get
it
on the
like
good,
that, bro.
huh?
They ain't say it like that.
Huh? Yeah, they did. Yeah,
we
yes,
don't
sir.
give, we
Wow.
don't care about your pinky. Tape it up. Let's
Yeah,
go.
pretty much. You gonna take snaps? I mean, Pink heard to take a snap. I'm like, whatever. I'm left-handed, right? I'm throwing with tape, two fingers taped together.
Yeah,
So start out on the bad note there. Get the concussion, and things just kind of go downhill for a little bit from there. Um, but
Can we talk about that? I mean, we it's kind of like Deshaun's injury. We don't really like talking about it, but we brought it up once and we never speak about it again. But that play was kind of like a QB sneak. Like, what? It didn't look like it was a hard hit. Was it like helmet to helmet?
Yeah. And I obviously, my, well, remember when my father wanted one of us to be a boxer. I'm glad it wasn't me because I found out I could not take a punch. Right? Um, but yeah, it was a helmet to helmet, and it was the third recorded concussion that I had. Went on to have one more in Canada, and after that one in 2014, I was done. But if you go back and rewind that film, man, everybody talk this shit, and I'm obviously an advocate for myself. So go back and watch the film, and you will see uh, the gentleman Ike Taylor, who loved the hit so much that he came to Morgantown and had a child. He was like, I'm gonna live off this shit, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But I fell forward. He fell back, right?
Right.
And I did get knocked out, but he got knocked silly too. So tell him to
Mm.
kiss my ass, Ike Taylor.
Y'all
That's
cool?
wild.
Yeah. I mean,
No,
we don't have a relationship, but there's no animosity or beef.
animosity. Yeah. Do you think so? You have 4 concussions. Do you think any of that has affected your health?
As a competitor,
I mean, we talk about
no.
like the CTE.
The
The
competitor to me says no. The science says yes.
mm,
You know, but
Yeah.
yeah,
but for me, it's mental exercises. It's um, positive mindset and doing what's necessary to stay mentally sharp.
yeah,
You know, enjoying the time that I'm aware now,
right,
not knowing what the future holds.
right. Cause sometimes I feel myself like I didn't have concussions. You know what I'm saying? I feel myself just forgetting simple things. Like the other day, I'd go in the bathroom, turn the shower, and I left my towel outside. So I go outside to the bedroom to pick up my towel, and I picked up my phone and went back in the bathroom. And I'm like, I just be forgetting like little stuff. Like I walk somewhere and be like, why did I come in here? Does that
Let
happen
me
to you a
tell
lot?
you, let me just say real quick. I'm going to interject real quick. 2 things. First of all, I think you were just in autopilot. You're probably so used to picking up your phone, not a towel in general. Secondly, there is a psychology term. I forget what it's called, but basically everybody's short term memory resets every once in a while. And for some reason, when we walk through doorways, that's one of those moments. That's why you forget when you walk into a room sometimes. There's a whole psychology behind this. It's very interesting if you read up on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
Mm.
read up on that.
Or there's another simple solution. You're just dumb. That could that bit might be one of the.
I
That's
don't
what I'm
know.
thinking. But whatever.
Yeah, so I'm worried. I'm not worried about that. KJ used to hit me with elbows in my head sometimes. I'm
Oh
like,
my
yo,
god.
It's probably
Mm.
because you fouled me. Probably because
KJ
you
was a
fouled me. Because
real dirty player.
John
Hey,
KJ was.
John
get
fouled literally all the time. He played defense.
get
But
big in there,
that's
huh?
but that's one of the reasons why I didn't like. I played quarterback too, Pat. I was nice. You know what I'm saying? I was running a naked bootleg all the time. I was scrambling. I was. Some people would say Pat White before Pat White, but
Oh
Ooh.
my
I don't know.
god.
But that was flag football back in the day, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? But I remember I got hit, I broke my arm, and my mom was like, "You're not playing anymore." So do you worry about that, like with your kid, with your son? Like, are you gonna let him play football?
Um, if he wants to play, heck yeah. I mean, the way I see it, football is a very dangerous sport, and it's
Right.
having a being tackled is like getting in a car wreck, almost comparable.
Yeah.
Um, but like I could also walk down the stairs in my house or fall down the stairs and the same happen. Right?
Right.
Right.
I could also walk out my door and something fall out off the roof of my head and hit me the roof and hit me in the head. Boom. It's unlikely, but there are many ways that you could be injured and hurt, and to deny somebody the ability to do something they love and enjoy just because of the potential dangers.
Right.
It's I I think the pros outweigh the cons. In other words,
So overall, though, your NFL experience, did you enjoy it overall?
I I didn't get the opportunity to, John. I will say in 13 when I went back to the Redskins,
Right. Home team.
that has allowed for me to enjoy life now, right? Because before then, there was something in my head that told me I was unable, right? Because I was cut from the Dolphins, even though I did go play baseball for a few months and was very successful at it. I just had a lack of belief. A friend of mine introduced me to a book called The Alchemist that helped to start to grow and build that internal belief and structure and remind me of the foundation that I had been blessed with from upbringing. But that brief 2.5 months with the Redskins gave me all the confidence in the world. It gave me as much as those from 4 to 24 when I was playing and having success, right? Those few months
Right.
of me just getting back into it and proving to myself that I was capable. Again,
Right.
even though I got cut, did
Right.
wonders for my psyche.
Wow.
That's cool,
Which is
man.
great. When did you decide to get into coaching, Pat? Like, was that something you always thought you would do, or did you just kind of like land in it?
And one of my dadgum teammates, Ryan Steincheck, um, we came in together. We graduated together. He was offensive lineman. Um, he asked me in 2016, and John, my daughter was born in 14. So he asked me in 16 to come coach, and I was like, I need to build a strong relationship with my daughter. This is what's most important with me, because understanding the situation and what was going on, I felt like it was important for her to understand that dad is here and dad loves you.
Aw.
So 17, they asked me again. I was like, I can't. I'm still working on this bond with my daughter. Um, in 18, um, he asked me again, and I was like, man, I can't. But I was like, maybe, because she was getting ready to head into grade school, and my time would be limited and cut tremendously
Right.
anyway. Um, so he was like, listen, I've asked you 3 times. Right? You have to understand that I'm gonna ask you till you say yes. And for me, I was like, dang, that's a sign from the Almighty that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So I said yeah,
Wow.
and hadn't turned back.
Do you
Yeah,
enjoy
man.
it?
I love every second of it. I mean, it's
That's awesome.
you get to compete, and you get to help young men compete not only against others but against the demons that live within that try to keep you from reaching your goal and
Right.
accomplishment.
Right. And that's why I think you will help those kids out a lot, man. Just from your experience and your leadership, man. Like you have a voice that people listen to. You know what I mean? That's rare. So I mean, I think that'll help out those kids a lot, man. Just by telling them your story and just letting them know, like, hey, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this right, and I think you can help out a lot of young men.
I appreciate that, and that's part of the reason why I am very cautious about where I'm where I give my message, right? Because for me, I don't want to dilute what what I feel like God has gifted me to
Right,
give to you. Right?
right.
If I'm just talking and talking and talking and talking, people are like shut the fuck up, right? You know.
Yeah.
Um, but if I think timing is everything. If that makes sense.
Yes. 100%.
You're listening to the official podcast of Best Virginia.
We also have a lot of fan questions. I think we should get to these guys because there's a ton. Of course, it's
Yeah,
Pat.
you're right.
There's a ton of questions, but one that is ever present with so many people, and I'm just going to throw it out there. A lot of people want to know if you would ever consider coaching at WVU.
Everything's for sale for the right price.
There it is. Pay this man. No, I'm just kidding. I am curious, though. This isn't one of the questions, but since we're talking about coaching, what are your thoughts on Neal Brown?
I think, like most coaches, he wants to win. He just has to find the right recipe.
Gotcha.
We'll leave it at that.
Okay. Some of the other, where's the other questions? Some people want to know if you, and I'm sure obviously this has probably happened, who's faster between you, Slayton, and Noel Devine?
Well, specifically, if we're talking the 40-yard dash, Noel, no question. Anything beyond, Steve won one, I won one. So we raced in the 60.
Oh, wow.
He beat me once, I beat him once.
It's that breakout
Um,
speed.
Again,
All I'm picturing is any given Sunday when LL Cool J was racing Jamie Foxx.
was that before or after LL Cool J punched him in the lip? Did y'all hear about that story?
Willie Beeman. Yeah, I heard about it.
No?
Yeah.
So
That's crazy.
You want to tell it, John? Or you can
yeah,
Google it.
yeah,
Okay.
you can Google it.
But I don't know who's right now. Definitely Noel. I mean, he's still training with his son. Steve is a chef.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I did not know that.
Can Steve cook?
Oh yeah. Steve
He
can
used
cook
to
now.
cook. He used to cook for y'all. And
See
y'all was
now.
roommates, right?
See, this is where he lost me though, because we didn't cook that much. No, he could have been cooking gourmet meals like a mole.
Like, where was this guy at when we were in school? What the
Facts.
hell? I love that, though.
Steve, I don't know another grown man.
That was a great question. Who asked that question?
That would be Rednicott. That's all I know. Where's the other one at?
Man,
Here's a different version of that question that A. Reeves WVU 32 wants to know. It's you, Slayton, and Renaud. Who wins in that race?
Again, it's probably a 50-50 between Steve and I. And I mean, I don't think Darius is gonna beat us in a race.
Right.
But if you put him in the weight room and you put him on the broad jump or vertical jump, he may still hold some records in that. Right now,
Ooh.
like he was a receiver that I could throw to, and it just looked like he was climbing in air, like
That's
on
true.
on the staircase. Like, what in the world is wrong with this human being?
That's facts. Rednicott also wants to know, what's your favorite play you ever made at WVU?
The Neal, the best play in college football. That means the game's over and I don't got to get hit anymore.
There it is. Lil Ray 840, what do you like the most about West Virginia as a state?
I got too quiet on that question, didn't I?
Yeah, just a little. Are you trying to tell us something here?
No. Be the head coach at
I,
WVU one day.
I love that my daughter still represents for the whites in the great state of West by God, Virginia.
Love that.
And I love the landscape. It's beautiful.
For
It
sure.
is beautiful, mom.
Yeah, there's some very nice people.
Very nice people.
There's also some assholes, but there's assholes everywhere.
If you become the head coach, man, don't be shy. I mean, I could be your PR man. I'm really good at it, man.
Well,
You won't have to answer these questions. I got you.
here's what blows my mind. My entire time of West Virginia, I barely saw rebel flags.
Mm,
Like it was rare that you saw a rebel flag.
Mm-hmm.
right.
Sometime after 2016, some things start flying like crazy, and I'm like, "What's wrong with y'all?
No, I
Like
agree.
what? Like
Yeah.
where did this come from?"
Mm-hmm.
So that's a different topic, man. We could talk about that. Man, I love to have you back on the show, man.
Like I'm back. I'm like, wait, what? Like what? What's up? Like y'all must have got history now. Hold on, let me remind you. West Virginia seceded from Virginia to become part of the Union.
Right.
Yes,
So,
the right side of history.
okay, but whatever. Um, so that's blowing my mind.
That's
Mm-hmm.
that's
Yeah.
why we're the best Virginian. That's what I say. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. That
But
blows me.
we can get deep with that, man. But we we'll talk about that later. What's the next
Yeah, I was
question,
gonna say
Al?
there's a lot to tap into there. That's for sure.
Like I don't even see him back home in Daphne, Alabama. It's like I'm in like the bottom of Alabama. You
Right.
know,
Right.
they ain't flying these flags like this. Like, what's wrong with
Mm-mm.
y'all, man?
Honestly, I think it's a lot of it is ignorance, and I say ignorance in the fact that I don't think they understand what that flag actually means. You know, they're thinking like Dukes of Hazzard, like, oh, it's the rebel flag. That's not what it means, dude. Like, I'm just gonna let you know right now,
That
that
is
is
true.
not
That
what
is
it means. It does not mean you're a rebel. It means you're an asshole. So, I'm just gonna say that.
Shout
Yeah.
out to
Yeah,
any of our listeners that are flying the flag.
I just called him an asshole.
Hopefully you just learned something.
Educate yourself. Where's Waldo 304? Do you think the program can ever get back to where you had it?
We had a lot of fun. As long as you're having fun, winning will happen. So yes,
There it is. Perfect. And Sammy G. Buckets, how did it feel to be the best QB in college football at that time?
Sammy, I didn't win the Heisman. Tell I, tell I appreciate his opinion, but according to the record books, I wasn't the best. I appreciate him.
Do you think that has something to do with just going to WVU? Because I think like a lot of players get the short end of the stick when it comes to the voting thing, just because I feel like W is just something about West Virginia. I was thinking like on the basketball side of things, like they don't like hugs a lot because KJ should have won Biggie's player of the year. I should have won Biggie's defensive player of the year one year. I think Deshaun should have won all around player of the year, and we just got overlooked for whatever reason. You know what I mean? Like, do you think it has something to do with going to WVU?
Uh, it's a business at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Period. I'll leave it there.
Yeah, which I think is sad. You know, the more they turn it into a business that takes some of the fun away from it, you know, and guys who deserve to be recognized for their accomplishments probably do get overlooked, which is horrible.
Yeah, and forgive me for getting on a soapbox, but for me, in the grand scheme of things, I say business. I'm thinking like park ball is still a business, right? If it didn't generate funds, they wouldn't do it, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
They ain't just playing tackle football just to give kids something to do, right? They're also doing
Right.
it because it's going to generate some sort of revenue, some sort of funds for maybe the city or the park, et cetera, et cetera. So at the end
Yeah.
of the day, it's about the almighty.
Right.
No kidding. All right, that's all the questions that we had because there was a lot of repeats.
Good.
A lot of people want to know the same questions. Mostly if you're going to come here and coach. That was a big one.
That'd be big.
They
That'd be
they
huge.
are asking the wrong human being. And speaking of, I am actually coaching at Campbell University here in Bowie's Creek, North Carolina.
Uh-huh.
Um, and since I've been coaching here, I have seen so many Campbells represented in so many spiritual aspects of my life. It makes the most sense. for me
That's
right now.
awesome. Yeah.
It's been an amazing experience.
So, but you just put that together,
What's that?
like that. You said you're at Camel. You've been seeing what? So many.
Just representations of camels. Like
Right.
I read a book recently. Well, The Alchemist. The
Right.
book I read has representations of camel and their significance spiritually, et cetera, et cetera. The Richest Man in Babylon, another book that I've recently read that talks about camels.
That's wild. It's
Right.
like the universe is telling you something.
Exactly.
We gotta get you back on, man. I know it took us 3 years, but I mean, I guess we could. You see what we about, we're not like Tony Caridi, so
Oh
Oh
my
yeah.
God, John.
real cool. It's just a conversation that's flowing. But I feel like we can have some real good conversations, man. But
We definitely could.
Help spread the word about our podcast. Leave us a review and tell a friend.
Oh, good.
Oh,
I was wondering what the hell he was doing. But yeah, man, I guess we could wrap it up. I just wanted to give you your flowers, man. While I can, I never really gave you your flowers, but
Appreciate
man,
that.
our best. My best years, man. I was spoiled being at WVU when I was, just because of everything you did there. Y'all team, man, was crazy. Shout out to JT Thomas, Scooter Berry. Y'all had the Runaway Beer Truck,
Oh yeah.
Steve Slayton, Noel, man. We was spoiled. Y'all made my college career, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, let's not fail to mention those leaders you had
That shit
handling the
ain't bad.
rock for you. Yeah.
I mean, they ain't
You
shit though. You
you
know what I'm
you
saying?
had Joe. You had
Joe Zoo.
Darius.
Yeah,
Right. Like, two of in my opinion, the best point guards in West Virginia has seen in terms of their overall basketball IQ, their overall leadership, and then the
right.
way they carry themselves around campus.
Yeah. Darius was a good leader too. Yeah, I really looked up to him as a freshman too. But then you're around him all the time, and you just realize, man, he ain't shit.
oh my John, you're such an asshole.
But nah, I was really like a Pat White fan, man. Like my wife, like we was cool before we got met, before we even got together. You know what I'm saying? She used to tell me all the time. She's like, man, Pat White does no wrong in your eyes, man. Man, I just
Oh
want
yeah,
to say thanks, man. Give
and
you your flowers, man.
listen. I appreciate you having my back because I already know what you're talking
Man,
about.
hey, you have
I,
no idea,
I
bro.
don't I don't need to have an idea. Well, actually, I got plenty of ideas, but that's part of the reason why I held on to that picture.
Right? Just
Hmm.
know I got you. I got you over here, bro. I know how it is, bro.
My man.
But nah, man. Pat, thanks for coming on, man. Shout out to Dave for getting them on. Finally did his job, man.
Yes.
Finally.
I like too that you dropped the casual bombshell that you're Pat White's daughter's godfather, and I've been like messaging like anyone that I can to like get through to Pat.
The
and
last
you could've
time I
just texted.
spoke to Pat, he said he wanted to kill the dog. So
Oh yeah, that's
Touche.
the dog, and who was responsible for the dog at that point? Not that I wanted to kill him, but I was I was very upset.
as you should have
Um,
been. But nah, I mean, I'm glad we can get past that. This has been another episode of Final Forecast with me, your host Jay Flo. KJ was with us. I'm not sure where the hell he went. He's muted. Dave. Can't hear him. Lovely co-host Ash.
That's me.
Kev, try again.
What? Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. John sabotaged me again. Thanks a lot, John.
We just need you to say your name, like yep, and then we're good.
Shut up, Dave. Nah, I'm just kidding. I don't even know what happened the last 30 minutes. So like,
Right. Just come in, mess up the outro. It's cool.
Don't worry about it.
And we had our guy, man, legendary Pat White. Appreciate you, brother.
Woo!
Appreciate y'all having me on, man. Hey,
Yeah,
once I'm
man.
out there, always I'm out there.
Amen.
Yes, sir.